Fuck you, I'm smarter, bitch.
I can't believe you're gonna rig this game.
We don't want to feel dumb anymore.
I feel so stupid right now.
We're here to find out if we're actually dumb. Don't ask us any questions.
Two bumbling morons. Fuck you, I'm smarter.
Welcome to Fuck You, I'm Smarter, the comedy game show where we compete with a quest. We're on a quest.
We are on a quest for knowledge.
Yes, where we compete with a guest on a quest.
Ooh, we're changing it up.
To find out who's the smartest person in the room, Zoom, YouTube Live.
Wow, we just keep adding on to the intro. I like it.
Yeah, now there's a quest involved.
Yeah. Did you ever play King's Quest?
Yes.
That computer game?
On like the old computer.
The old computer.
Yeah. In the computer.
It's in the computer, yeah.
Kelly.
Yes.
How is life being back from the 2 road trip episodes?
Oh, great. Not only did we go on 2 road trips, but then we talked about it for 2 weeks.
Yes.
It was fantastic, and I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to have a guest this week. And not,
I know.
like, I loved talking to you, and I loved, like, rehashing our summer, but, like, let's move on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's time to, like, get back into the swing of things.
Well, it's time to go back to school, masked and vaxxed.
Yep,
right.
We're masked, we're vaxxed, and we're ready to relax.
Whatever.
So speaking of South Florida, this guest I knew 1,000,000 trillion years ago.
Oh, come on. You guys aren't that old.
No, we're not that old. But I saw on Instagram, I was like, oh my God, she's living in LA now. Oh my God, she's kind of doing the same thing that I'm doing right now. Like, we should hang out and be friends. And instead of doing that, I was like, do you want to do our podcast?
Well, this is how we vet
This is
people
the
to
first
be
step,
our
you
friends.
guys.
This is
Yeah.
how we bribe people, vet them.
I wanted
get to know
Corey
them.
to like me first.
Right.
Because I'm just so likable on this podcast.
Right.
And then be like, you guys, I had so much fun. Like, do you want to be my friend?
Right.
And then I was like, great.
and then it's like hooking someone with
Yeah,
lies, basically.
yeah,
Or, you know, it's like
yeah.
lying on your resume.
Yeah.
So
she
like,
doesn't know how depressed I am.
No, she doesn't
Like,
know
she's
what a
only
trash
seen the good
person you
stuff.
are when the cameras are off and the
Exactly.
microphones are off.
So let's bring in our lovely guest. I'm so excited to catch up. She's an actor, writer, director. She's doing really cool shit all over LA. Can't wait to plug all her plugs.
Yeah.
Corey Podell, hi.
Hi.
Good to see you through the Zoom.
Most of the friendships I've made in LA come from podcasts, like being guests on
great.
podcasts
I love
or
that.
stuff. So I think it's like the natural order of things here. It's totally normal.
Yeah, it's like a friendship speed dating sort of like accelerator.
You like
Yeah.
quickly spend a lot of time with somebody. And then it's like, do we want to hang out with that person?
Right.
Like, we know all their deep, dirty podcast secrets.
Right.
There you go.
Corey, we went to Hebrew school together.
Yes, but you need to tell everybody I'm older than you.
I know. So, okay. So not that much older now that we're older.
I see Lindsay as like little sister age forever.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Totally,
Yes.
even though it's only like a couple of years. But Lindsay loves to say how much older than her I am, which
Yes.
is literally only a year and a half.
It makes me
But
feel
she
better.
really loves to say like you're you know
Well,
older than me.
You're probably the same age. Your brother was in my class.
Yeah. So.
But I went to pre-first, so I was always a year older than everybody in my class.
Was that for the stupid kids who couldn't get into first
They
grade?
didn't say that at the time, but now that I think about it, when I'm a little older, I think that's what was happening.
I mean, pre-first was like, sure, you did kindergarten, but like
You're not ready.
first grade's a leap.
Yeah.
With love, I'm saying
you're
that.
still sucking on the teat a little too much, so
Yeah.
we're gonna like give you another year to do it.
I think so. But I was your sister's age, and what I can tell you, what I remember is like, I was really, my childhood best friend was Amanda Crone. Do you remember her?
Oh my God, that's my sister's best friend.
Oh wow.
Right. So there was like, so Amanda lived down the street from me. I was obsessed with her. Like I'm like, Amanda Crone is like number one forever for me. And I remember Jessica was like her family friend, best friend, who went to a different school. And but I always loved Jessica. Like, she was always so nice to me and like so friendly. And I loved seeing her at Hebrew school, and she was always
that
so
doesn't
cool.
sound like her.
No, I'm shocked by all the things you're saying about my sister.
No, she was.
Just that she's nice,
Well, I have fond memories of her. Really, I do. Yeah. And my mom, I asked my mom, I was like, do you remember the Gentiles? What do you remember about them? Because I'm going on Lindsay's podcast. And she just said that she remembers your mom being really kind to her and really sweet. And like, that wasn't always the case with Jewish women in Coral Springs, maybe.
100%.
So she remembers that about your mom.
Oh, that's so sweet. I'll tell her that.
Lindsay's family is pretty awesome.
Yeah, my mom was always like ran with the Jappy crowd, but was a hippie, which we'll talk about because when we asked you all the questions, you said that you were a gyppy, a Jewish hippie.
I've never heard that before. I love it.
And I was raised by a gyppy, so I really like related so hard to that.
And I was a goth hippie.
Yeah, I was more of a Jewish a junk.
You were a junk.
I was a junk.
So the Crones lived down the street, and Amanda was my best friend, and she was an only child, and I had like 2 younger siblings. So she always wanted to come to my house because she thought my little siblings were so cute and fun to play with. And I was like, no, let's go to your house because you have like a TV in your bedroom and a dog, and like it's quiet there. Zeke.
So
cute.
Amanda, I was little. Like I would sometimes.
You were so much younger than that.
Well, I was the annoying little sister, and sometimes they would allow me to be at the sleepovers.
Yeah.
And I saw War of the Worlds at Amanda's house.
Wow.
And I think I saw Truth or Dare at Amanda's house.
I believe it because I saw Pretty Woman multiple times at her house when we were like way too young to watch it. But we would have Edie. We were honest, and we would like pause the movie and be like, it's that scene, and Edie would come in and fast forward it and make us like, and then we would go back. So there was some level of censorship, but it was still like Pretty Woman,
Oh my
gosh, I used to watch all those movies that were too old for me at my childhood best friend Nicole Anderson's house, and her older sister Carrie would play all these movies for us. They turned their garage into like a screening room. Basically, it was just like a big living room, but that's where we watched all the movies. They had a catalog of movies, like a Dewey Decimal System for their VHS tapes. They were like up on the walls, all these different shelves, and we would watch everything we weren't supposed to watch. Yeah. That's where I saw It for the first time when I was like so small.
No.
Freaked out forever.
It's classic. It's really classic to have a friend growing up that has video games and movies that you're not allowed to watch at your own home.
Exactly.
It's a special
so,
person.
Exotic.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
And it's funny that Amanda was that because Amanda was like kind of in my eyes, like very kind of a goody-goody in a way.
Yeah, she was really like responsible and smart and mature.
She had her mom fast forward through the sex scenes.
So cute.
Yeah, we would like narc on ourselves and be like, "We're watching it. Come in."
Oh my god, I love that
trust between like the children and the parent, though. Like it's a safe space. Like she knows you're watching, and that's fine. And then like she supports you in the moments where you're out of your depth. Like it's really cute.
It's so cute.
Yeah. Anyway, Amanda and I follow each other on social media, and I think it seems like she turned out really great, and I only have like love and appreciation for her.
Next time you come on the show, we'll have her on as well, and you guys can be a team, or you can go against each other. Yeah, we will
surprise me with a reunion from my like childhood best friend.
So cute.
Amazing.
Edie is my godmother, so I still see her quite a bit. I haven't seen Amanda in a really long time, but I'm really close with Edie.
Does she still live in Florida?
No, she's in DC now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She should hang out with Justin and Mike.
I know, but she has like kids and a family, and they're like
boring. She's like a well-adjusted person.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She's like a real human.
No, we'll keep my
I think
friends
she's a
away from her.
lawyer. She's like a real human. Corey, did you go to Taravella? Is that where you went?
Yeah, and then I went to a private school after that. But yeah, I was at Taravella for a while.
What was the private school that you went American
Heritage.
I remember that. remember that
which
school.
which is quite a name for a school if you think about it.
It
like,
really
now
is.
that you look at it, I haven't thought about American Heritage. Ooh, that's so creepy and weird. Why'd you go to private school? Too many fights?
No, it was like part of my teenage angst, and I'm like, I hate this school, I hate everybody, and I like just tortured my parents until they like let me go to a new school. Like it was like, you know, I don't really remember the details, but it was like, you know, teenage drama, not anything real.
Don't you wish it still worked like that if you were just like dug in so hard on like a job you wanted or like an acting role that you wanted?
Right, now it's called stalking. You can't
they
just
say
do that.
no. Also, they're just like no.
Right, but you can't like beg your way into anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
Yeah.
It's not, actually. It's better this way. I think.
Probably.
Yeah.
Corey, what kind of a student were you?
So I was always a pretty obedient, compliant, try my best, follow the rules student. My parents were like, they're not like conservative people, but they were kind of strict with us with like, you are expected to get good grades. Like that is it. And like, no question, you are expected to go to college, a good one, and you are expected to like respect us and follow our rules. So I had like, I just never wanted to be in trouble. And so I sort of, that was like my guiding thing was like, don't be in trouble.
Right. Do you think you're still like that?
I think I'm less like that, but I do think it's like really deep in me. And that's like, not to get too whatever, but like, that's what I'm like working through with like my creative work is like trying to not be so like follow the rules. Like don't like being so afraid to fail on stage or fail at all is like a real problem with me. So taking more risks. I identify with that. I'm like trying to take more risks, trying to like be less self-conscious, trying to remind myself like no one cares, no one remembers, no one like try stuff. So it's something that like I'm still unraveling. Like
Same.
Yeah. I mean, even just like writing games for this podcast today, it comes out in all of these different ways. I'm like, oh my God, my games are so bad. It's so stupid. Everyone's going to think I'm just such a terrible podcast host. I'm like, first of all, no one cares.
Yeah.
You're the only one who's thinking about it, Lisa. And second of all, you're always your own worst critic. Like, it's literally going to be fine. Like, what's more important is just having fun.
Yeah.
Like,
having a connection.
And, like, no one's going to be like, oh, yeah, she misspoke that word on this, on, like, episode 98 of this podcast. And, like, it's not going to go down in history, you know?
Yeah. All of my mentors and, like, people I've respected, who I've worked with, who have given me advice, like the common refrain over and over is that like I am the only one getting in my way. Like I'm getting in my own way is like the same. That is my note upon note upon note. So it's like I got that's my stuff I'm working on.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, we have had that conversation so many times, the two of
us.
Sorry. But yes, we can relate to that so hard. Yeah. So did you go to a good college like your parents wanted?
I did. I think so. I went to Boston College, which is in Boston, and I really loved it. It was a very like, I think until college, I had just like done what I needed to do to get the grades I needed to get. Like, I don't know if I loved learning or like, was
you were
actually
just doing it. You had to do it, so you just did
I think like certain classes I loved, but like in general, it was like a means to an end or whatever. And then when I got to college, I was finally like, oh, like thinking deeper and like opening up my mind more. And it really was like,
and you get to choose what you want to learn too, what you want to focus on. You can like pick all of your classes in a different way and like really, you know, what am I actually interested in? Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, like when I took philosophy for the first time and I went, nope.
Yeah.
I'll take this one class and then I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah,
Ugh.
philosophy was not as much fun as I wanted it to be.
Oh my God. It was just one rambling long sentence.
One rambling
and I was just
old
like,
dude.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
I know
What are we
philosophy
doing?
sounds like
It
like
sounds
cool
great.
college, what you want, but it's not really what you want, you know?
It's
At
actually not.
all. It's like that guy at the party that you get stuck to and
Yes.
like talking to in the corner.
Yes.
And you're like, how did I get here?
Right.
That's how I felt the whole time.
Yeah.
All right, should we play?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Fuck you, I'm smarter.
What? Do you have like a straightforward game? Are they all silly? What do you...
I'll tell you. I'll just tell you what I have.
Actually, I think I want to start with one of mine.
Okay.
I think we can kind of segue talking about what Corey was like when she was younger. She mentioned to us off the pod
have one of those too.
that you were really into the band Phish. And I can't speak for Kelly, but this was like not my thing. Like the Phish thing.
I like Phish.
I just want to be clear about Phish. When I said I was into Phish, it wasn't like it was all, I was like cosplaying as a Phish fan to like hang out with the boys that liked Phish because those were the boys I liked. So
Yes,
I
got
was
it,
LARPing essentially. And like
Yes.
now, you know, I remember like 2 songs. So I will fail whatever. If this is a quiz about Phish, like.
Yeah, I mean, I only know 2 songs too, but like I enjoyed.
What are the songs that you know?
I don't know.
Can
I know
something
a
about
song-
being a Phish
Something
song.
about a farm. I don't know.
The one Phish song I know and love is called If I Could. And it is their most like, it's their shortest song and like their most like nice girly floaty
Right.
song.
Like tied up with a
Right,
bow, and it's
right.
like that's the one.
You're like, okay, this is the one I'm going to know all the words to.
Yeah. We're not going to jam for 30 minutes on this one. We're just
Right.
gonna,
Oh,
yeah.
I enjoyed the like getting high and just listening to jam forever. Like I'm like, oh wow, the song's still on. I'm loving it.
I never...
I like a jam. I like a good jam band.
I like a jam. Never got into Phish. Knew I was like
But you
a
like-
couple of people away
you like
from
Dave
Phish,
Matthews Band.
but I didn't really get into Dave Matthews until like college.
All right.
You know, like it wasn't really. I wasn't
Okay.
there yet. I wasn't there
So
yet, you guys.
high school, college, but it's not that big of a difference.
Well, we're gonna play a
All right,
game
anyways,
called
let's fish it up.
Swimming with the Fishes.
Oh, here we
Amazing.
go.
So we're going to talk about Phish, the band, and then we're going to talk about Phish, the aquatic gill-bearing animal.
So
Excellent.
this is what class in school?
Biology.
Biology. Okay.
Now, just so you
But
know,
your teacher is a fish head, so that he likes to throw in some. Yeah.
wants to put in some fish facts.
Yeah.
Just so you know, the definition of a fish, the gill-bearing animal, on Wikipedia is fish are aquatic gill-bearing animals that lack limbs with digits.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So they do have limbs, but the
Yeah.
limbs don't have digits.
never thought
Right.
of it that
Never
way.
did. I would not have described a fish that way.
All right. And for those listeners who don't know, Phish, the band, is an American rock band that formed in Burlington, Vermont in 1983. Who knew?
Wow.
They are known for their musical improvisation extended jams,
Yep.
like extended for days, blending genres and a dedicated fan base like Corey Podell, who apparently only listens to them for
dedicated.
the boys.
Did you get the boy?
No.
No.
No. I mean, maybe.
Right. Maybe a little bit.
My friend
Maybe,
was
like, we
dating
made
this
out.
guy.
Right.
My friend was dating this guy that was on a bean diet, and she
No.
ate all these fucking beans. And then they broke up, and I was so... The thing I was the most mad about was that she went on that fucking bean diet.
That's awful. I dated a very unhealthy vegan guy for a while in college, and it's not.
like you're eating
doesn't-
vegan
It doesn't
food.
smell good.
Beans, you're listening to Phish. Like, what are we doing here, guys? Okay. All right, let's talk about both kinds of fishies. So we're going to
Great.
start with the animal. And I'm going to start with our guest, Corey. Let's talk about halibut. Let's just
Let's talk about
Let's
what?
get into it.
Halibut.
Halibut. Okay, great.
So, halibut is the common name for 3 kinds of flatfish
Oh wow.
from the family of right-eyed flounders. Did you know it's like a flounder? Didn't know it.
Right-eyed?
Right eye flounders.
Why is it
I guess it
only
has a
has
big
one eye?
right eye. My question for Corey, what does the name halibut mean? And I'm going to give you a few options, okay? Does it mean A, breathing fish, B, salt fish, or C, holy fish?
I'm going to say
Breathing fish?
C.
That is correct.
Okay.
Now, I didn't know, Corey gets a point. I didn't know if Corey would know this because I don't know if you're still Jewish, but we were raised Jewish, I believe.
Right.
I'm still Jewish.
Okay, she's still Jewish.
I haven't converted or anything.
People eat that on like religious holidays. They eat halibut because it's like the holy flat fish, and they've been like eating it since the beginning of time on holy holidays.
Holy flatfish?
Holy flatfish. Didn't
But
know
wait,
it.
have you ever had halibut on a Jewish holiday?
No, I think
Me
it's
neither.
like a.
This could be regional
I
at
think-
this point. I don't know.
I've never heard of a halibut holy connection.
You're not on the halibut diet?
No, but apparently it's the holiest fish there is. That's what
I
the
thought that was
internet says.
gefilte fish, but all right.
Wouldn't you think?
Corey, when was the last time you ate gefilte fish?
Over 10 years ago, for sure.
Yeah.
If
I think, Kelly,
I'm not
you
like
like
with
it,
a,
right?
I do like it.
No.
Yeah.
I like anything weird and fishy and pickled. Like,
Ugh.
that's my jam. I'm down with that
It's
kind
too
of stuff.
Well, then-
gelatinous.
It is
That's
gelatinous.
Jewish food,
Yeah.
pickled,
Yeah.
fishy.
I'm into it. Yeah.
It's just all it
I'm
is.
super into it.
All right, Kelly, let's talk about lungfish. Have you ever seen a lungfish?
I don't know.
Probably the most unattractive fish you can find.
Are you attracted to fish generally?
I mean, some of them are attractive. This one is not. Lungfish are the only living fish that have both lungs and gills.
Wow.
They have lungs and gills, you guys.
They're gill bearing and lung bearing.
and lung bearing. Okay.
How are their digits?
No digits.
Got it.
Still no digits. Okay, they need lungs and gills because they live in small lakes and rivers that sometimes dry up.
Whoa.
And when
That's
this
cool.
happens, these fish don't die. They can actually survive in the mud
Wow.
for up to 4 years using their lungs.
What an adaptation.
Isn't that
Yeah,
crazy?
that's amazing.
So what is this type of dormancy called? Okay.
okay.
A, estivation, B, torpor, or C, brumation. Brumation. Is it estivation, torpor, or brumation? And have you heard of any of these things?
I'm going to go with A.
Estivation?
Sure.
That is correct.
Yeah?
Yes.
It just sounds sort of like a word that I may. It sounds like estuary.
Yeah. It's
I don't know.
It's spelled AES,
So
but
it's totally
Americans
different.
call it ES.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Divation.
I don't. No, I haven't really. I've heard of torpor. That sounds more like.
I can tell you what that is.
Yeah, tell us what it is.
So torpor is occurs in some small warm-blooded animals when food is scarce. They can go into like hummingbirds, small mammals, bats. They're able to like rest in a way where they can conserve their energy.
Got it. Like a type of hibernation almost.
Yes. And then brumation is like a reptile's version of hibernation.
Okay. And what's estivation?
That's that they can use their lungs.
That they
can like sit in the mud and,
And
use
breathe.
their lungs and
Okay.
breathe that way, I guess.
Estivation is when you sit in the mud and use your lungs.
Yeah, use your lungs, man. Okay, speaking of
Okay.
man, I don't know what that means.
No one does.
Corey, let's get to Phish the band.
Woo!
All right. Jeff Holdsworth is a musician who is a founding member of the rock band Phish. They actually founded the band in their dorm at the University of Vermont in the fall of 1983. The band originally featured Holdsworth, Jeff Holdsworth, and Trey do you say Anastasio?
I think so.
Anastasio.
Mm-hmm.
Sharing lead, vocal, and guitar duties. Then there was John Fishman on drums, Mike Gordon on the bass guitar. He left the band. This guy, Jeff Holdsworth, left the band in 1986. Why did he leave the band? Ooh. I can give you A, B, and C. He graduated and wanted to pursue a career in electrical engineering. B, he became a born-again Christian. Or C, he had a falling out with Trey over their vocal stylings. Ooh. Why did he leave the band?
This is a guess. But I think it's C.
That is incorrect.
Okay, is it B?
Okay, I'm gonna give you a point for B.
No, you don't have to.
But here's the deal. The internet, so half the people say it was because he became a born-again Christian. And then the other half of the people say that that's not true, and he graduated because he wanted to become an electrical engineer.
That was my guess.
And I could not find the truth on either thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The truth is out there, but we don't know it yet.
I don't know his religious affiliation.
I don't know if I got that point, actually. But sure.
I'll give you half.
Yeah.
I'll give you a 1.5.
Give her half, yeah.
Because actually my first instinct was to say born-again Christian, and of course I didn't trust myself, so here we are.
Look,
here you are with only half a point when you could have had a whole point.
I did it to
believe
myself.
there could be truth to that. I believe that maybe he was got a little weird in college and started talking about Jesus and stuff. And
then also became an electrical engineer.
Yeah, it could have been both.
Yeah.
I actually couldn't find the correct answer.
Okay.
All right, Kelly, number 4.
Yes.
Ben and Jerry's, based in Vermont, named 2 ice cream flavors after the band.
Right.
My favorite, Phish food. Love it.
Oh, that's not the answer.
It's
that was my
favorite
guess.
Ben and Jerry's. What was the other one? Was it A, Wake and No Bake Cookie Dough Core, B, Anastasio Pistachio, or C, Freezer Surprise?
Let's go A. Wake and No Bake.
That is incorrect, Corey. Do you want to try to steal?
What was C?
Freezer Surprise or Anastasio Pistachio?
I'll go with C.
That is correct.
Okay.
Freezer Surprise.
Freezer Surprise. Don't really understand it, but I will tell you what it means. So I don't know if you guys remember this, but in 2017, they did 13 nights at Madison Square Garden. I only know that because Carrie Menalakis sang with them, and I was like, oh my God, she was my roommate. And I was like, weird. They called the run the Baker's Dozen. And for some reason, Ben and Jerry's think that that's related to Freezer Surprise. It was a limited batch donut themed flavor, Freezer Surprise.
Ooh.
So
They're
there you
high.
go.
Do we really need to try to figure it all out? You know, it's fine.
All right, we're going to do 2 more.
Okay.
Corey, which one of these is not a way that fish communicate with one another? Okay.
And this is back to the
Now
gill-bearing, digitless.
Yes, we're back to gill bearing. A, synchronized swimming. B, electrical pulses. C, sounds using their vocal cords. Or D, rattling their bones.
What? Rattling
What?
their bones? What is this, a cartoon skeleton?
Yeah,
God,
rattling their bones.
I hate science. Okay.
And just so you know, Corey, I know Lindsay said she wanted to be friends with you, but this was her choice based on the fact that you said you hated science so much. She did this on purpose.
Noted.
Yeah, write that down. Mm-hmm.
I think that okay. I'm just going to talk through my thought process here. I want to say they don't communicate through vocal things, but I know that whales do, but whales aren't fish, right? They're mammals. So I'm going to say that. I'm going to say C.
That's correct.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They
so
rattle
they do
their
shake
bones.
They rattle their bones.
They rattle their bones and they click their teeth. Yeah. They make all sorts of weird noises with their little bodies.
It's
okay.
Weird.
This is my last fish question, and then I'm going to tell you a fish fact.
Is this for me?
Yes. A third of male fish in British rivers are in the process of changing their sex to female.
Good for them.
I know. A survey of 1,500 fish.
A survey. Did they
Yeah.
interviewed them with
Interviewed all
tiny
the
little underwater microphones?
Yes. 50 river sites. They found more than a third of the males displayed female characteristics.
Cool.
What is causing this change?
Hormones in the water.
Where are they getting the hormones
From us.
From
like medical stuff
yes,
from shit that we're flushing down the toilet.
Kelly, I'm giving you 2 points because you didn't even get an A, B, and C.
Yeah.
It's a lot of it is from our birth control pills.
Of course. Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Makes sense.
I think it's crazy.
No, it's I mean, it is crazy, but it also totally tracks. Like it's everything in this world is connected.
Yeah, it's all our sewage. Right. It's changing the game for fish.
But hopefully,
good for
like
fish.
hopefully the birth control in the water like makes them get their period regularly at least, and like makes them get rid of acne.
Hopefully.
You know.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a big problem for fish too. Huge. Yeah, I think that this is actually probably like a weird, benefit.
And when you
them.
get pimples under your gills,
have you ever had?
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh, a subgill pimple is like just the most uncomfortable.
So
and you have no digits to even like pop it.
It's true.
Yeah.
One more question I'm going to ask you both.
Okay.
Where did the name Phish come from the band?
Right.
Why did they name the band Phish?
Didn't you say one of the dude?
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mine's a guess too. Is like
mine's
named
total
after
guess.
their guy, then the band Fishman.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that your guess?
Yeah.
Okay, so while that was believed for a very long time, okay,
the real fish scholars, discovered
in an interview, Fishman was like, the band was not named after me. That's not true. We were having a conversation. And we wanted to name the band after the sound a plane makes. Don't shoot the messenger. So we were going to name the band but then we thought we needed a vowel, and we had already made the logo with the so we just snuck an I in there and it worked. That's what he said.
Wow.
That's literally what he said.
Again, just high people logic,
Exactly. And I just want to apologize to all the actual fish heads out there who are listening, who are going to like ferociously email you all the right facts about it, because I'm sorry I don't respect or like I didn't respect this world enough. It was all about the boys.
It's usually all about the boys.
Crazy.
Before we leave this section, I just want to tell a joke. What do you call a fish with no eye? Fish.
The original name of fish. Yeah.
Notice the silence. All right, that was Swim with the Fishies.
Woo! For our next class, let's stay on theme. We're going to go to music class.
Woo.
And now we're going to talk about someone that Corey actually enjoys listening to and like truly appreciates as a musician. We're going to music class today, and this game is called You've Sure Got a Springsteen in Your Step Today, Corey.
Wow, that really rolls off the tongue.
Wow, thank you so much. I actually feel a lot of pressure about this, and I hope I do well, because he's my spiritual father, so I need to honor him.
Yes,
that's big. Okay,
people that like Bruce Springsteen are really serious about it.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, the only thing I know 2 things.
Okay.
Courtney Cox was in one of his videos.
Okay, right. Oh, yeah.
And I know that he's from New Jersey.
Right.
That's it.
Those are essentially the only 2 things I know about him as well, although I forgot about the Courtney Cox. I have been meaning for my whole life to like get more into Springsteen. You know what I mean? And so I promise you, Corey, after this, I'm going to Spotify playlist, just like all Springsteen all day, and I'm gonna like really just try to channel You.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please.
Did you know he
I
was
mean,
born in the USA?
I did know he was born in the USA. That I did know for sure.
It's about the music, but it's also about like, you know, just his persona,
The
his way of
attitude.
being in the world. Yeah.
I love it.
Totally. I get it. All right. So unfortunately, we don't have an A, B, and C for these games. So you guys are just going to have to let it roll. You got to know what you know. You got to make it up if you don't. Here we go.
Oh, God.
Corey, according to a rundown on CNN, the boss, which he's called, remember that? Did you know that? He was called the boss?
I know that.
He has 2 middle names. Corey, do you know what his middle names are? I'll give you a hint. One of them...
Give me a hint.
One of them starts with an F, and one of them starts with a J.
I know one of them is Frederick.
Yes! Ding, 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 ding.
I'm going to
you
say...
guess the other one?
I'm going to say James.
Oh,
No.
That's what
John?
I was going to say.
Close. No. Joseph.
Joseph. Okay.
Give her half a point. She got one of them. Bruce, Frederick, Joseph, Springsteen.
Wow.
Lindsay. Number
Yes.
2. Bruce knew that he wanted to be a rock and roll star when he saw Who perform on the Ed Sullivan Show. Who performed? Name another musician.
Is it just one person?
It is one person. I'll tell you that. It's not. It's a one famous singer. I'll tell you, it is a guy. It's a dude.
A famous
It's a dude. Think 50s and 60s.
I don't know.
Corey, chance to steal.
I'm going to say Elvis.
That is correct. Ding, 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 ding.
Wow.
All right, Corey, true or bullshit? True or bullshit? Neither Bruce Springsteen nor any other member of the E Street Band have ever actually lived on E Street. True or false? True or bullshit?
I think that's true.
No, it's bullshit. Actually, the original keyboardist, David Sanchez. I don't know how to say
David
that.
Sanchez.
Sanchez. Yes. Well, it's spelled like Sancious.
Weird.
It's still. I think it's still Sanchez.
Sanchez. Okay.
Yeah.
Original keyboardist David Sanchez lived there. E Street runs northeast through the New Jersey shore town of Belmar, and according to Springsteen lore, the band took its name from the street because the original keyboard player, David Sanchez's mother, lived there and allowed the band to rehearse in her house.
Wow.
Now that you say this, I do I listened to his autobiography during the pandemic when all we were allowed to do was go on walks or whatever. So
Yeah.
I listened to this huge thing in 3 days, and I totally remember that now.
Yeah. Yep. There we
Wow.
go. Oh well. Listen.
Elvis. Wow. Corey.
She's
I'm so
still back on
impressed.
Elvis.
Elvis. I mean, it makes so much sense.
Lindsay,
Yes.
number 4. Dr. Ruth once visited Springsteen backstage at a show. She told him she liked what he said in his songs about love and sex, but she wished that he would mention more of what?
Women stimulation.
No. Corey, chance to steal.
I have no idea. Wish more of
Women's brain power.
sex.
Masturbation?
Contraception.
Oh.
What the fuck? Yeah. No. Actually, Dr. Ruth is wrong. We need to undo history because that's wrong. I mean, contraception, good, whatever. But that would have made his song so bad if he was Mary and Joseph down on the shore put a condom on or whatever. It's
Exactly.
No.
We should we write those songs?
Maybe we should.
Should we write that
Is she
song?
still alive?
No, I think she died. Did she?
No, I
did
think
she
she's
die
alive.
recently?
I think
Is
she
she
might
still
be
alive?
alive.
Oh my god, I'm gonna look it up right now.
My sister and I were in New York.
Oh my god, I
and
hope she is still alive. If she's still alive, I feel so terrible that I thought she died. Yeah, she's totally still alive.
She's still alive. She's very old.
She's 93.
We saw her in a Starbucks once. My sister and I almost died.
Oh my god, amazing.
In New York, at Trump Tower,
oh my
we
god,
went up the escalator and there was this there's
Why
a
were you in Trump
Starbucks
Tower?
because there's a Starbucks upstairs on Fifth Avenue and we're going up and I'm like, oh my God. Like, I was like, that's fucking Dr.
Oh my
Ruth. I was
God.
like freaking out.
Yeah, well, apparently he replied, gee, it's going to be tough to get the word contraception into a song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What rhymes with contraception?
I mean, his
right.
a lot of what I like about his music is like it's about the vitality of youth and like people being in love and like getting out of their towns and like living to the fullest and like sorry, but like putting your diaphragm in or whatever is not like part of that story.
Yeah,
This
that
isn't
can
gonna
happen in
work.
the background. I'm sorry, that's just not the message
Yeah,
here.
like do that behind closed doors. when
That's
you're
why we
done
have you,
singing.
Dr. Ruth. Thank you for all you do.
But yeah, all the
hilarious.
respect to Dr. Ruth, just not in this case.
For sure.
Yes, agreed.
All right, Corey, number 5. Springsteen had a bit of a hard time in school. Now, a nun did something to him that he'll never forget, and so did a priest. Do you know what they did? They both, I guess, punished him in different ways that he remembers.
I mean, I don't remember
Yeah.
specifically. No.
I think they beat him with a ruler.
No, although they definitely, I'm sure, had rulers. This is so interesting. In the 3rd grade, he says, a nun stuffed me in a garbage can under her desk because she said that's where I belonged.
Whoa!
Isn't that horrible? So horrible. And then he said, I also had the distinction of being the only altar boy knocked down by a priest during mass.
Whoa!
So like a priest tried to fight him. A nun put him in the garbage.
Wow!
Wow.
That is
Yeah.
he
years.
still considers himself Catholic and it's kind of into it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Years later at Ocean County College, you went to a better college than him, Corey. Legend has it, although that's not fair. I don't know anything about Ocean County College, but I'm just guessing.
But
that Boston
American
College is probably
Heritage.
better. Yeah.
She went to. I was going to say
Yeah.
American Heritage sounds fancier.
Legend has it that his fellow students petitioned the administration to have him expelled. I don't know why. But then he also had his fans. Some of the girls in his high school approached the administration with a petition demanding that Bruce's band at the time, the Castiles, be given more attention and respect.
Wow!
So he had his groupies already.
I love it.
I love it too.
It's interesting, like his autobiography. I do remember when I was listening to it, and he talks about that time in his life. It was like I was so weird, and I was such an outcast, but yet he was in a cool band, and like also, like definitely was hooking up. So
totally
Yeah.
hooking
how
up.
much of a loser was he, and like how much is that like a like?
But of course that stuff stays with you, right? Like as a child, he was stuffed in a garbage can. You know what I mean? Like so there was like that's we at the same time, yes, he was like hooking up and definitely was cool. We carry that like 10-year-old inside of us still.
Yeah,
We all
just
carry the
talked about it for
10-year-old
10
inside of
minutes.
us that was stuffed in the garbage
Yes.
can. So yeah.
yeah.
Lindsay,
Yes.
what was the first song he ever learned to play on the guitar? You can get a point for even just knowing the band.
Mary Had a Little Lamb.
No, it's think about famous
The
bands.
Rolling Stones.
No, good guess. Corey Chance
I think
to
it's
Steal.
the Who. The Who.
No, good guess as
Led
well. It was
Zeppelin?
the
Led Zeppelin?
Beatles.
Oh.
It was the Beatles.
Oh.
Twist and Shout.
Oh, that's a
He
good
plays
one.
that in his concerts. I should know that. He loves that song.
2 more questions real quick. Corey, true or bullshit? He once wrote a song for Elvis Presley. Later in his idol's career, he actually wrote a song for
Wow.
Elvis. Is that true or bullshit?
I think it's bullshit.
I am gonna give you the point
No,
for that.
you
I would
don't
have.
have to.
No, I am because Elvis died soon after and never recorded it. So, but he did write a song for him, but it wasn't actually
I don't-
recorded. So you wouldn't.
I
have
don't
known.
deserve that point. I don't deserve
No, I'm
that.
giving.
point.
I'm
you
giving
deserve
you the
the
point. I'm
point.
giving you the point.
All right, fine, but okay. I'm humiliated. I'm humiliated that I don't know any of these answers.
You did know some of them. Here, you can probably get your cred back because
No, this is
Lindsay.
my
I know. I'm
question.
assuming you're gonna miss. Assuming you're gonna miss it.
Definitely gonna miss it. I don't have 1 point in this whole game.
Lindsay, number 8, last question. For you've sure got a Springsteen in your step today, Corey.
Yeah, I'm not even in the title.
Kitty's Back is a song.
Kitty's back.
This song was inspired by an establishment on the Jersey Shore. What kind of establishment?
A strip joint.
God damn it.
Was it right?
Yeah.
Woo! I'm on the board, kids.
Yeah, apparently Kitty was coming back to the club. She was a dancer.
Good for her.
I assume. It was inspired by a neon sign that Springsteen saw promoting the return, of a popular stripper at a Jersey Shore strip club.
Nothing like a stripper at the Jersey Shore.
Named Kitty.
Wow.
When was the last time you went to the Jersey Shore?
Wow. Oh, actually 2 years ago.
It's fun, right?
Yeah.
Corey, have you been to the Jersey Shore?
I went there because I was in New Jersey, in the Jersey Shore area for a wedding like 5 years ago. And my husband and I he was my boyfriend at the time, but we went to where Bruce Springsteen used to play all the time, called the Stone Pony. And
Give her a point for Stone Pony. That was like all over my questions, and like I just didn't get to it. Yeah. Oh my God, give her a point for that. Seriously.
So we went to that bar. It was like kind of closed, like whatever, but you could like peek your head in and like see where. I mean, it looked like a bar, or whatever, but it felt special. And I will say, like, a lot of people on the Jersey Shore, like a lot of vendors are definitely like. There's like so much Springsteen merchandise and memorabilia and like the boss and stuff. It really is like cool how he like owns
inspired
the
that
Jersey
whole.
Shore.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Now, what are Springsteen heads called? Like we have Phish heads, we have like dead head, whatever. There's all these different.
They're probably called like the Steeners.
Can I tell you a good story though? I went to
please.
When I was 19, I went home from college. I was in Coral Springs, and he was playing at whatever the Panthers arena is called now, which whatever.
Yeah.
It's like out in the swamps. Okay. So he was playing there, and I had tickets to his show, and my dad was supposed to go with me. My dad came back from a business trip. He was like, because I like Bruce Springsteen because of my dad liked him. Like, that's why. So we were going to like do this thing together, go. He got back from a business trip. He was really tired. He told me he didn't want to go. So I brought my like little sister, who was 15 at the time, knew nothing about Bruce Springsteen. We had nosebleed seats. We got there at like when the doors opened, basically. So we were like in our little nosebleed seats up over here. You could barely see the stage. And we're like so excited. And this man dressed in black like comes over to us and was like, I work for Mr. Springsteen. Do you want to trade your tickets in for second row center? And we were like, what? Is this a joke? Yes. And then we like we were like, oh, and he was like, do not like bring any attention over here. We were like, okay.
Oh my God.
And we got these tickets, and apparently they're called the Men in Black, and like Elton John does this, and like some other artists where
it's legit.
Like, no, it's legit. It's like they will have their roadies or people at the venue. Like if people are there in their seats when the doors open and they're in shitty seats, they'll like give them better seats. It's like Billy Joel does it. That's who does it too. So
that
it's like
is so cool.
So I had actually like heard this legend before about the Men in Black, but like totally forgot about it. And then it happened, and we were second row center, and his concerts are like revivals. They're amazing.
Yeah.
And we were definitely like the youngest people there, and everyone was like, someone came up to us and like offered us money for our tickets, who were like 10 rows back. We were like, no. And like I made eye contact with him, and I like touched his hand, and like my sister was like, is a fan for life now. It was really
that's incredible.
And then my dad was like
so mad.
What the fuck? My dad was so pissed.
So pissed. Would he have been there that early?
Would he have been there that early? No.
That's a good.
So, yeah, and would they have offered me and my dad tickets, or is it like two girls?
Or is it two girls?
You know?
Right.
Mm-hmm,
oh
exactly.
my God, that's amazing.
That's so
it was really
cool,
special.
Corey.
And I have
that's
to
fun.
like I went to a concert of his in LA like probably 10, 12 years ago, and we had like regular seats with my friends, and it was still really good, but like it's hard to go back once you're up close.
Yeah.
When you see someone when you see a band or a musician that you love that close, and then nothing can compare. Like that's one of the most amazing experiences you can have like in life.
Like I might just need to like let that be my Bruce Springsteen concert, you know, and like whatever. But did you hear about his daughter?
Right. No.
His daughter just won like a silver medal in the Olympics.
Oh shit.
Whoa.
Her name is
she
Jessica Springsteen, and she is a horse girl. She's an
equestrian. That's right.
Wow.
Oh wow.
And she's gorgeous. But it is interesting. You know, it's kind of funny that like some people comment on about Bruce Springsteen is like he has this image of like I'm the working man singer, the working man, blue collar, right? And he like literally is so rich and owns a horse farm, and his daughter's an equestrian, like fancy horse girl. Yeah. So. But whatever, good for him. He deserves to do whatever he wants.
Exactly. I love it. Well, I looked up what Bruce Springsteen fans are called.
Oh.
And the internet says Bruce Tramps.
Okay.
Bruce Tramps. Yeah. You're a Bruce Tramp. You're a Bruce Tramp.
A proud Bruce Tramp.
I think he does he uses the word tramp in a couple song lyrics. So I think that tracks for me.
That makes sense.
Well, it's recess, you guys. Should we play MASH?
Yes, definitely. Corey, when was the last time you played MASH?
Probably a few years ago because I like playing it every so often. But.
Amazing. All right, Corey, when you were little, who were 3 guys or anyone that you wanted to marry?
Mark Paul Gosselaar, who played Zach Morris on Saved by the Bell. Mm-hmm. That was a
Now, did you want to marry Mark Paul Gosselaar, or did you want to marry Zach Morris?
Zach Morris. Yeah.
Let's say Zach Morris.
Can they all be celebrities? Yeah, they should be, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
They can be whoever. They could be your next door neighbor. It doesn't matter.
I also wanted to marry like Eddie Vedder.
Yes. Oh, he was on my list for a long time too.
Like that was the kind of guy I had crushes on, like grungy, like.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Same.
But like, yeah. As I got older, younger though, blonde. And then who else? Let's just say my childhood crush, Michael Berryman.
Love it.
Who is Michael Berryman? Can you tell us more about him?
He was like my second grade, like, it's Love like it. Who I remember I think I told you guys, like, I went boy crazy in 4th grade onwards. So, like,
I love it.
I was, like, totally stable until then. And then I, like, lost my mind for years. But he was probably, like, the first boy I was like, where's he parking his bike today? Where's his lunch table at? You know, like, clocking him.
Yeah. All right, and 3 fantasy careers.
Actually, like, this stuff was not on my radar at all until I got older. So I think back then I would be like, fantasy career would be, I wanted to be a teacher.
Yeah.
And then I think I wanted to be like, when I was in high school, I was like, I'm going to be a travel writer because that sounded cool. But like,
I still want to be a travel writer.
I know. I think it sounds cooler than it is. And then I was in like dance school, and I like was doing that seriously for a little while. So I think I would have said like ballerina in like not a little kid ballerina way, but in like a more like,
like the New York fucking ballet.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, cool. And then you tell me, would you ever want to live on a yacht? Because I used to play Mashy with my friends.
What's Mashy?
Well, we just put a Y at the end for a yacht. So like mansion, apartment, shack, house, or yacht.
Yeah, let's do yacht.
Want to throw it in there?
All right.
I'm gonna start making my spiral, and you're gonna tell me when to stop. And starting.
Stop.
Perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're not living in a house. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're not marrying Michael Berryman. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're not living in a mansion. 1, 2, 3, 4. No Zach Morris. It's Eddie Vedder for you, baby. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Not a shack. That's good.
That's
1,
good.
2, 3. Ooh, wait, I did that wrong. That's okay. We'll keep going. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's oh, you're living on a yacht. Yay! It all working out. It's all working out. With Eddie Vedder. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not a ballerina. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're a teacher.
Woo!
Wow.
What a fancy teacher.
Oh, wow. A
you
fancy
are.
teacher on a yacht living with Eddie Vedder. Maybe you teach like spearfishing or something.
Right.
Who knows? Wow.
I love
Interesting
it. I
life.
love that life.
Yeah.
I love that life.
That could have been you.
Wow. I made all the wrong choices.
Didn't we all?
How did you get into all the producing and directing and acting and stuff? Because were you in plays when you were younger?
No, like I was never like a theater kid. I did, like I said, I was in dance and everything, but and it's funny, like I would go to camp every summer and I would do like skits and like I was always like really outgoing and funny at camp. Still never thought that was like something you could do. Even in college, there was like an improv team at my school that actually Amy Poehler started like before I got there, but it was very good. And I would like go see their shows and I would be like, how can people do that? Crazy. Right. And so it just never,
that when I see improv,
it never occurred to me that like in my realm. So I was actually like, just like living my life, whatever. And I had a boyfriend. This was like, I'm a late bloomer. So like in my mid-20s, I had a boyfriend, late bloomer in my career. This guy was like, you're funny. You should take a class or something. So it was almost like I needed permission from someone else to tell me to do acting. Like maybe I wanted to do it deep down inside. But so once he said that, it was like something clicked and I just Googled like the closest theater to where I lived or like the closest class, and it was Groundlings, which I didn't understand like the context of what that is.
Right.
And for people who don't know, it's like it's an improv comedy theater in Los Angeles, and lots of great people have come from there. So I started taking class for fun. I had a day job. I was like a normal person contributing to society. And then I just kept getting like, I really loved it. I met a lot of people. I kept getting like moved forward and like up in the levels. And then eventually like I was performing there and teaching there. So I actually did become a teacher.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
You did.
Eddie Vedder's waiting around the corner for you, babe. It's going to happen.
Amazing.
We live on a coast. The yacht can happen like one step at a time.
I love it.
Yeah. So it sort of like was a huge turn in my life to do that. But once I did, it was kind of like, okay, there's no going back now. So I since like 2011, I moved out here in 03, and then I started class there maybe like 07, 08. And then from 2010, 11, I've been like performing, directing, writing.
That's awesome.
Teaching, all that stuff. But it's like it's hard because what's hard for me is not like having regrets about like, man, I wish if I had just like majored in theater or acting, or if I had like made choices earlier, I would be further in my career by now. But that really like is so unhelpful, and I'm trying to stop. Like
it's really unhelpful. And I majored in theater, and I'm not very far in my career either. And I'm still figuring it out. So I don't.
Everyone's journey is so different. I mean, the most talented people in my class quit a long time ago. You know, like. I think you could also get burnt out and quit by this time. So I think like whatever was meant to be your journey, like it is what it is, you know?
I did the deal. And the truth is like, I think that
you're doing the deal.
Having good life experience before I started all of this has only helped me in my work. You know, it's not like I moved out here at 22 and started auditioning and like didn't really know what having a job was like or whatever. Right. It's like have something to bring to it.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. And you have the foundation of knowing how to be a normal person too, which is nice.
Which is hard. A lot of people like struggle when you're in grounded. The arts of like the in-between. Like Kelly kind of had to teach me, like, you have to be happy in between shows. You have to be happy in the in-between jobs. You have to be happy in between. I think if you had a normal life at some point before this, you can kind of appreciate those things more. Yeah. You know, it's hard. Hard with the ups and downs
and my husband is an actor, and he makes his living as an actor. He's a character actor and like, you know, works on and off and steadily somewhat. And he's done a really good job of accepting that it's going to be like this for our whole lives. Like he's like in full acceptance of that. I'm not in total acceptance yet. I'm like,
it's amazing.
I'm like, but wait, but you know, hard. Like I still am like so programmed from my childhood of like a linear path and like your career must go like this.
Yes,
correct.
For those listening, I'm pointing in a line upwards, but
in an upward line.
Yeah.
She's on a diagonal,
ramp.
But acting and anything in the arts is more of a pointy wave, if you get that. Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Well, my boyfriend,
like when you're on life support.
Yes.
It's your heart, the heartbeat rate.
You know, we were talking about it last night because he gets a great gig. He's a cameraman. He gets a great gig where he feels like he's doing something artistically fulfilling. And then he's like filming a millennial talking about video games for 3 days. And he's like, what am I doing with my life? And then he gets a big job. And it's like so many people in the artistic field, not just actors or creators in that way. We have to work gig to gig, and some of the gigs are cool and some of the gigs blow, you know, but you just take the money and run. So it is definitely like a tough.
And sometimes you're not making any money and you're just like,
why
am I even
doing it for free? What am I doing? Why am I paying for this?
Why am I paying for
Oh my God, I literally
Why?
I just booked new headshots
speaking
this
of,
morning,
I need
now
to
that you
get
mentioned that. That's ridiculous. Because mine don't look like me.
Yeah. Oh, let me know who. I need to no, mine don't either.
I know I need new ones, and I told my agent I'm too tan. Can I wait till my tan goes away? And she's like, I don't think she's like, I don't think that's I think you're gonna always be tan.
Yeah,
I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Just accept the skin that you're in. Yeah.
It's really tan right now.
You're beautiful.
I wrote a game. This episode is really Corey centric. So Corey
even
told
though the
us
last one she didn't like it. So
well,
you need to. I hope you chose something she actually likes.
This is something she actually likes.
She hates science and she didn't really like Phish. So
well, we have to suffer sometimes to
to
appreciate
gain.
the things
it's good
that we
to
love.
face the
There's
things.
no you can't appreciate the sunshine.
Peaks and valleys.
Just like our careers.
We're going to do a real world versus Fuck You, I'm Smarter challenge because Corey was obsessed with the Real World seasons 1 through 8.
She's a real world head.
And I think that's about where I dropped off. I maybe did a couple more years after season 8.
I don't even remember what season 8 was, so I probably dropped off a little before, but I was deep in it while it was on. However, that was a million years ago.
Yeah.
So
I really got into the challenges for a while. The Real World versus Road Rules challenges. I liked that shit.
I still watch the challenges.
Yeah. But Corey, I watched the challenges till about maybe 4 years ago. I dropped off. But if I knew where to find them, you could tell me where to find them, I would still watch them and enjoy them. I just kind of dropped off. Love Johnny Bananas, love The Miz, love all the greatest hits.
I don't even know who those people are.
You would know if you watch the challenges because they've been doing this. They're like 100 years old and they're still doing these challenges.
I don't like watching people do competitions unless it involves food.
Oh, see, these are so fun though. Yeah. They do crazy shit. So let's get into it. Let's go back to Ruthie, Jacinda, Neil. Remember Neil?
I remember his name.
Remember Irene?
Yes.
The slap heard around the world, Irene.
Wow, she had the slap. Yes. Do you remember that?
Wait, someone slapped her?
It was deserved in my hot take.
We're going to talk about it.
It was deserved.
I remember not liking her. She was Miami.
Seattle.
Was she Miami?
She was Seattle.
God damn it.
She had Lyme
That was
disease.
like her main personality.
Do you remember? She had curly hair. That was her thing.
Oh, I'm thinking of someone else. I remember her.
Yeah.
Oh, she was awful.
Just so you know, she's done stand-up before, and I think we should all try to find it.
Absolutely.
So, the Real World. Okay, so we're going to dive into the Real World. We'll get into some specifics, but we'll also talk about just like the Real World in general of how it began and how it started and all that.
Is this multimedia class?
This is social studies. Obviously, this is social studies. Okay. So, Corey, the Real World was originally pitched to MTV as a scripted show. So, Jonathan Murray and Mary Ellis Bunham. I don't know how to say her name. They pitched a series called St. Mark's Place that would focus on a group of New York City 20-somethings, but the network passed because they thought it would be too expensive. So they were like, we don't want to pay for that. Can we do like a reality thing instead? And they're like, sure, let's figure that out.
There wasn't even reality shows then yet.
But that's like how it was birthed.
Right.
So my question for Corey has literally nothing to do with the real world. What was St. Mark's? Okay, so St. Mark. What was he not?
Oh my God.
What was he not a patron saint of?
Oh my God.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a list. Tell me which one is not something that he was a patron saint of. A, lions. B, lawyers. C, people dealing with insect bites. Or D, lovers.
I'm going to say D, lovers.
That is correct.
That was my guess
Corey
too.
is incredible.
Nice.
This guy was a patron saint to
Insect
so
bites,
many
lions,
things.
and lawyers.
It was like 50 things long. And I'm like, okay, it was just a fun fact. Now let's get into
He
the
really
real world.
cares.
Kelly.
Yes.
There is actually a real world pilot. Okay.
Oh.
It's never seen the light of day.
Okay.
But they filmed a pilot. And it was 6 people living together in a Soho loft.
Uh-huh.
And it was filmed over a Memorial Day weekend in 1991.
Okay.
MTV picks it up, gives them a 13-episode arc to work with. Now, none of the pilot's cast was retained for the first season.
Oh, okay.
But one of them worked with MTV again.
Okay.
Okay? And was big in the MTV universe.
Okay.
Who was it? Was it A, Mike Judge, the voice of Beavis and Butthead? B, Tracy Grandstaff, the voice of Daria? Or C, Billy West, the voice of Ren and Stimpy? The boy, I think he created Ren and Stimpy. Was the voice?
I'm going to go with Daria.
That is correct.
Awesome. I loved Daria.
Now, this is a bonus question for both of you. Whoever gets closest to the number without going over Price is Right style. How much money do you think the actors or the people got for their first season on The Real World?
Oh, wow.
So those that were cast in the first season,
Okay.
how much money do you think they got for the 13 episodes?
$350.
Like, do you mean per?
Okay,
You're saying
good guess.
$350 per episode?
Corey?
Per
No,
person.
Per
Oh, I
person
think
for
like
the 13 episodes.
I think
they
like
paid for
maybe
some other stuff.
$1,500 a person.
Okay, so Corey is a lot closer.
I'm sure.
It was $2,600.
Okay.
Still not great.
$2,600.
Wow.
Not a good wage.
No, and like some of the later casts only got $5,000. It's not like the Real
50 grand an
Housewives where they're
episode.
making
No.
like Teresa Giudice is like $62,000 an episode.
Well,
It's not like that.
Yeah.
A lot of these casts are only
but
getting
they were
like a
also, you have to
$5,000
remember, like
stipend.
this was
Yeah.
the first reality show ever, so it's like they had nothing to compare it to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Corey, speaking of money, how many of these do you think production covered in terms of expenses? Okay. How many of these do you think they covered? Food, phone calls, housing, transportation. What do you think they covered? Food, phone calls, housing,
I think they
transportation.
covered. Wait, say them again. Sorry.
Food. You know, they have like a group phone calls.
So I think they
Housing,
covered
transportation.
everything. I'm going to say everything except transportation.
That is incorrect. Kelly, do you want to try to steal?
Whoa. Okay. Did they not cover food?
That is correct.
Yeah, it was food.
It's
Wow.
food. They had to pay for phone calls as well.
Oh my God.
They would get a phone bill for long
That
distance
makes
calls
sense
that they
because a
made.
lot of fights, especially in that first season, were over the phone, like over who had control over the phone.
Over
So
the
that would make sense
phone,
if like
yes.
it's on their own dime or whatever.
You're right.
Should have known that.
Right. Yeah. You're
So while a lot of reality shows have like actual crafty and craft services,
sure.
like
Well,
they had
now
to
they do.
pay
Because
for
it was
their
real
own
reality.
fucking
That was
food.
actual reality. I actually think
real
that's
reality
good that
show.
they didn't pay for it.
It was
it's like that,
crazy.
yeah.
Now it's so much more produced, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
I loved that first season.
Crazy. So now it's Kelly's
Everyone needs to go back
question?
and watch at least the first season of Real World.
Yes. I want to watch the first 8 now because I went through the list and I was like, oh, I forgot about that one. I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
Okay, Kelly. Irene with the Lyme disease.
Right.
Okay.
Right, the Lyme disease. Yeah.
She was from the Real World Seattle.
Uh-huh.
She now has a podcast.
Oh.
She's done stand-up.
Okay.
Okay. Her podcast is called No One's
Didn't
Listening.
she
And
quit?
guess what? No one's listening.
Ooh, oh, you're still bitter.
She did wind up quitting, questioning the ethical.
Right.
Like she was like, okay.
Was she right? I don't know.
The slap heard round the world. Do you remember when Steven slapped her?
Yes, now I do. Wait, he was the black guy, right?
Yes.
Yes, and it was
Can
it was
you
very
tell me
controversial.
why Steven slapped her? Remember, she has like a teddy bear. There's
I
like
can
a teddy
literally,
bear and he comes and runs
literally
it out
tell
to
you
her.
the line that she said.
Let her.
Okay.
Let Corey.
No, you guess. You guess why he slapped her, and then Corey's gonna break it down for the audience.
Was he also gay? Did she do? She said something very offensive, and I don't remember what it was. But everyone felt like, yeah, she deserved that.
Okay,
Corey, why?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give Kelly a point because she's skirting around
You're
it.
right.
Okay. Skirting around it.
Irene, and listen, no one should hit anyone. I'm not saying that. They're both in the wrong here.
Of course. No. Yeah. Sure.
And he was
right. They're both wrong.
kind of a piece of shit.
They're both villains, okay? Or they were. But he was still
he was
obviously in the closet or whatever. And as she's leaving the house after quitting, she was like, with a smug little smile on her face, she was like, Steven, we'll never be together, and you know why? It's because you're a homosexual, Steven. And he was like, and so she outed him on national television. And
she outed him.
You could tell in the moment,
up.
he was really stunned. And his reaction was really ugly. He was like, well, you're a fucking bitch, or whatever he said to her. And he threw her teddy bear in the ocean. And she goes to the car that's waiting. And he runs up and he's like, oh, by the way. And he you think I'm gay? And he slapped her.
He opened.
That's right.
But,
oh, yes, I remember that. Yeah, he opened
the
the door to
car
smack
door.
her in the face.
I don't think that's right to do, but I can see why someone, especially that it was still the 90s, the panic he might have felt and the rage or whatever.
Right.
So I think it was just just an ugly situation all around.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And he had said some homophobic stuff on the show. He was kind of a little bit, he was one of those people that was covering it by making fun of gay people or saying inappropriate things. So he was also seen as a villain on the show. But that shit was crazy when it happened.
Wow.
Crazy.
Slap heard around the world.
Slap heard around the world.
Maybe in middle school or high school or something. And I remember at the time thinking he's so bad for hitting her. That's so bad. And it is so bad. But after growing up and actually thinking about that situation, I'm it was really complicated. And he has since come out of the closet and he's been on challenges since then, and he's out now and has talked about it. But I'm afraid of Irene. Is she gonna ever hear this and hear us talking shit about her? I'm I don't want Irene to come after me and cancel my ass.
Scary.
Let's not. We won't tag her in that.
But also, can we get together and watch her stand up?
Yes.
She talks about the slap.
I want to
and the
hear
real
what
world
she has
in
to
a
say.
recent recent
Sorry for
stand
calling you a
up.
bitch if you're listening, Irene. I mean,
I don't know. I will find where I found that. She has since performed a stand-up routine explaining her life since the show's filming, and she talks about the slap heard around the world.
Wow.
So we need to find that.
All right.
We need to get into that.
Okay.
Okay, Corey. Let's talk about Pedro.
That's my favorite season.
San Francisco
Yeah.
season 3.
Yeah, that's my favorite season too, I think.
Pedro. I just got the goosebumps just thinking about him. He was one of the first openly gay men with AIDS
I'll
to
never
be
forget
portrayed in popular media.
It was important.
It was so important what they were doing over there. And then
he was so sweet.
But then we had Puck.
No, I hate him. I will always hate him. I hate
Well, listen.
him.
He's had a really horrible life.
I'm sure he has, but he was a horrible person on that show to everyone, especially Pedro. And
Horrible.
I will never, ever
I know.
forgive him.
Terrible. But Corey, he was also on some of the Road Rules
Puck?
challenges, right? Was Puck?
I don't know.
Or did
I
they
don't
not
really
let him?
remember him, but he might have been.
I feel like he may have been on a few. So, Corey. His real name is David Rainey. David Puck Rainey. Which one of these statements is not true about Puck's life after the show? Which one is not true? A, he made an appearance in Eminem's video for Without Me. B, he was on Celebrity Rehab with Dr. Drew in 2008. C, in 2009, he was sentenced to a year in a Los Angeles jail for domestic violence. Or D, in 2012, he was sentenced to 2 years in Waco State Prison for stalking a woman. Which one of these is not true?
B is not true.
Corey is like, she's a master of
Which
disaster.
one was B?
The Celebrity Rehab with Dr. Drew.
Oh, wow.
He was actually supposed to be on it, backed out, and then got arrested.
I mean, I knew the last
Holy
two,
shit.
C and D, were true. I was just like, was he in a music video for Eminem? Sounds right. Yeah. But I loved that
right.
season.
Sounds right.
He was on.
And you know what?
I
Do you
too.
remember
Love that season
Rachel
so
from
much.
that season? Rachel
Yeah.
Campos.
Yeah.
She was
Rachel.
She's
brown hair like mine, which is why I identified with her, because
Very-
she was like a brunette.
Have to look it up.
I was like, well, then we're the same.
Mhm.
And she was a Republican. And now she is a host on Fox and Friends and has 9 kids. And her husband is Sean Duffy, who was in the Boston season.
Yes.
I'm obsessed with
saw
her.
Yes.
What?
I didn't know she was on.
Which
I knew
one
she was
is
a Republican.
This one.
I mean, I knew
Yeah,
that
she
she
was
was very
Catholic
conservative, even
and-
on the show.
Yes.
And, like, she was very Catholic, and she was like, "Oh my God, are we all going to get AIDS now?" Which I understand to a degree. Like, it's a newer disease, so you don't know like whatever. But like, she was a little bit unwilling to like
budge.
She was. You could.
But she
you
also
could
was
see
like
the
a rebel and got a
conservatism.
tattoo and kissed Puck and stuff. So she also had that streak. And so I really,
Right.
I really identified with her, because that was my personality
Yeah.
too, which was like good girl, like trying little ways to be bad, but like ultimately failing and just being
Yes.
good.
Right.
But anyway, I'm
Yeah,
still like,
bias.
I still follow her career, and like, I mean, she's pretty, some of her views are pretty crazy, but like, I don't care. I'll always be obsessed with her. I'll always like have like a little like, to her.
A little. Yeah.
I just remember this. So when I lived in New York, Corey, I was a Sex and the City tour guide. And every once in a while, there would be someone on my tour that was like famous, or I knew them from growing up, that was like very familiar, and I couldn't figure out how. You know that like crossover, like I know that person. I think I went to school with them, but it's like someone famous. So I'm in the bus and I'm looking at this girl and I'm like, oh my God, I think that I grew up with that girl. She's like my age. I think I grew up with that girl. Like, should I know her name? Like, I feel kind of embarrassed I don't know her name. So I stopped her like on one of the stops, probably at like the sex shop at the Pleasure Chest. And I was like, did you grow up in South Florida? And she was like, no. And I'm like, did you go to University of Miami? No. Really? Did you blah, blah? And I'm asking her like all these questions. I'm like, I know this person. I'm asking her question after question after question. And then I'm watching the challenge, okay? And it was the girl, I think her name was Sarah, and she dated Adam.
Yes.
Sarah and Adam.
It was Sarah.
It was her.
What season was she from? Was she from Real World?
Was she Real World? I think she was Road Rules.
I watched Road Rules too. Which road?
She was very recognizable. Was that her name? Was it Sarah or Jenny?
Oh my God.
Who dated Adam?
Who's Adam?
You know who Adam is, right?
Adam from
Corey?
Road Rules?
Yes.
I'm
He
cutting
does
all
all
of
the
this out.
challenges.
I'm cutting all this out of the episode.
I thought I knew who you were talking about, but I
Cutting this
actually
whole
don't
game
know.
out.
Adam,
If she's from Real World, I would probably know, but
All right, I'm gonna. I'm going to send it to you after. I'm going to show you a picture of them together. I saw them on the train like a week later. It wasn't until I saw them together on the train a week later where I was like, oh my God, I'm the biggest asshole in the world. I just made that girl so uncomfortable for like an hour. Okay.
Oh my God.
I'll send it to you guys.
Okay.
All right, Kelly, which one of these would not get you removed from the show? Which one would not get you removed from the show? A, doing drugs. B, getting pregnant. C, changing your appearance without permission from a producer. D, quitting the assigned job that they gave you. In London, they started like assigning a job.
In Miami.
To you. That you had like kind of... Oh, it was in Miami? So it's like Jersey Shore.
Corey knows her shit.
Oh, I think it was after London.
That's right.
London was so boring.
Oh, I love
but
London.
they all got along.
I loved all
that's
the
why you
I
loved
loved
it,
the
'cause they
people
all
in
got
London.
along. But that's why the
That's
ratings
why I
were
loved
low.
it. That's
Yeah.
why I loved it, because they got.
So they were like, we need to give them a challenge. We're going to start giving them a job.
That's why I really liked that show, because it was
And
nice.
Yeah.
Everyone was like actually learned something from each other, and like I feel like grew as people. It was actually
like,
really lovely to watch.
I
I find that more entertaining. That's why I don't like the challenges, because I'm like, this is boring.
The act
It's not
of making them
stupid. It's
have
pointless.
work and like work together on stuff actually makes it less real. And I think that's like where they started to go wrong, is because that makes it so produced. And the truth is, like,
Yes.
the coolest stuff happens when
Right.
like everyone's bored and has nothing to do. So
Yes.
Yeah, totally.
I should have
True.
produced the show.
So what do you think?
So did I avoid the question?
doing drugs, getting pregnant, changing your appearance without permission from a producer, or quitting the assigned job?
Which one would not get
Which
you?
one
I know
of
the
these would
answer.
not get you removed from the show?
I think you wouldn't get removed from the show for not doing the job.
No, you would.
I think it is.
For
You
doing
would.
drugs. They let you do
Oh.
Changing your appearance.
I thought it was getting
Oh,
pregnant
sorry.
because on the second season someone got pregnant. No, but
Did
she
they remove her?
No, she stayed on the show. She had an abortion though. That was a storyline. Yeah, it was Tammy.
Oh, I remember that.
Maybe they put that in their
Yes.
contracts after that.
No, but you're saying it
I'm
would not
saying-
get you removed from the show.
No, that
So maybe
would.
it was.
You
It
said
says in
which
their
question-
contract. It says in their contract if they have a zero tolerance for drugs. If you know you're pregnant or get pregnant, that's grounds for firing you from the show.
So it's only changing your appearance.
Changing your appearance, you have to get permission from a producer, and they'll like if you grow out your beard, they'll make you shave it again. If you cut your hair, they'll make you grow it out like that.
Got
but
it.
maybe it was grounds for kicking you off the show, but maybe it
I
made
know,
good
like
TV,
I
so they
think
left it
that
in.
would be so
It's in their
stupid of them
contract.
to make that like that's a
I
storyline, you
know.
know?
It's a liability, though. It's a liability, I feel like. Because, like, in their contract, it's like, you can die. Someone can kill you. I read, like, the contract. It's like, we may show you in a light that's not true of who you actually are. Like, you're signing your life away when you do this. You can get hurt, but you're not allowed to have an STD, but you can get it from one of your cast members, and it's not our fault. Like, it's like crazy. But one of the things that they put in there was that was grounds for firing you. Yeah. And the STDs things, except that other people, the cast stated that they had no known STDs, but had to accept that other people on the show might, and they could get it. All right.
So like we accept that some of you may have been lying about saying that you don't have STDs. Is that like
I'm going to give Corey 2 points if she can name the first 8 seasons in order.
I think I know it. I think I know
it.
it 80%. We'll see. Okay. I think it goes New York City, Los Angeles, San Francisco, London, Miami. No. Sorry. No.
Yes.
Yes, Miami.
Wait,
Then
no.
Boston.
No.
Then Hawaii, Seattle, New Orleans.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I got 'em out of
7,
order.
8. Okay. I have in my notes, you almost got it. But then I remember Seattle being the 8th season. So I think I wrote it down wrong.
Oh my God. I will put this to
New
bed
York,
right now.
LA, San Francisco, London, Miami, Boston, Seattle, Honolulu is what I wrote down. But I think it's actually Honolulu and then Seattle which would make you correct. So can we just double check that?
We're putting it to bed. Here we go.
Do remember that Seattle was the 8th season.
Wait, does anyone know what season they're on now?
They have it on now?
Crazy.
Guess what season?
What year is that? 2019.
2019.
I'm going to say
what
24.
Season? No, 33. No. It's freaking insane.
Crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, they lost it after season 10. You know, it's like they did too much.
Yeah, I just want to see the list.
It's gonna make you go. It made me.
What
do
if I
that
did?
Too.
Oh my god, can I use you Wikipedia?
Just want to know if it's Seattle, Honolulu, or Honolulu, Seattle.
I'm just trying to find the.
Because I think it is Honolulu, Seattle, and I think I wrote it down.
I'm not so sure. I don't know.
7 was Seattle.
So it was 7 was Seattle, and then Honolulu. So I will give you 1 point, Corey.
Seattle was first, and then
it
Honolulu.
100% correct.
Okay.
It's Seattle,
and New Orleans was
Honolulu.
9. You were right. Yep.
Well, the reason I loved The Real World so much is because I was watching it when I was like I started watching it as soon as it came on. I was like in 5th or 6th grade when I'm watching the first season of these like 20-year-olds, and it just like I was the oldest, so I always wanted older siblings. I was always obsessed with teenagers. I was always trying to figure out like what's cool, whatever. So I would I watched it and absorbed like how to be
I love it.
a cool older person or something. Like I was obsessed with like
right
how cool I thought they all were. And like looking back, I actually just watched them recently, like this past summer. I watched like some episodes from the first season, and I'm like, they were fucking cool. Like I was correct in my assessment. Yeah.
Yes. They were really cool, and I remember they dealt with some real shit. Like that stuff with Ruthie was some real ass shit.
And you know what? Like they don't.
Ruthie.
She was hot. She was the one that was really horrible.
She had alcoholism.
Yeah.
She was in Hawaii.
She was Miami.
Yeah.
No, I think she was Hawaii.
Oh my God, who do I keep thinking of? Who was the
Melissa
bitch in Miami?
Melissa
That's who I keep thinking of.
was a bitch in Miami, and Flora, but with the Russian accent.
Flora.
Yeah. But here's why I like the first few seasons of The Real World is because this was like at a time when like, and this is gonna sound like really boomerish of me or something, but it was like when people could have civil conversations about tough issues, like they actually did have good conversations that were ultimately like, maybe they got heated, but ultimately productive. And it never ended in people being like, you fucking whore, it was like only later on did that shit happen. But it's like, and we've like totally lost it now in society. Like you can't have a reality show without people like literally fighting each other to make it interesting. And I think like it's, I wonder if people would actually want to see more of like what it was originally, which was like young people like navigating this stuff. But it feels like it would be too hostile now to put different people together.
It's a shame.
It's a really good point.
I mean,
that's why I loved it. That's why I loved the first few seasons, and then I stopped watching it because that is
it became about like
I don't
threesomes.
Find this interesting anymore.
Yeah,
it's like
it's
the
like
Bad Girls Club
drinking
now.
and threesomes and
right.
And like actually like
crazy fights, ripping each other's hair
going
out.
at each other, which was like it's like you don't want that. No. So so I appreciated the like level-headedness. Yeah, like
the realness of it. Yeah.
Maybe we should start a show, The Real.
Yeah, we don't cover any of their expenses. It's like 4 aspiring actors living in a studio apartment. Like that's it. Then we get really real.
Just throw them a few mattresses and tell them to have fun.
Ugh, it sounds awful.
Well, thank you, Corey, for suggesting that game because I got to do a little deep dive, and I'm going to visit some old episodes because it was really fun to like think about that that time in your life too, when this show was like such a big part of our lives too.
Yeah, it was like it aired once a week, and there was no DVR, and there was no recording of it. You had to be there, and you had to like wait a week to find out. Like, wait, did they kiss? Or like, oh no, did she get the part? Or like whatever. And I was like really weirdly invested in that stuff. I'd like think about it all week.
All right. Last period of the day. Corey, we've really tailored this game to you, this whole class day to you. We're going to English / American history, and we're going to talk about Little House on the Prairie.
Yes.
Why?
So you majored in American history also?
I majored in history, and like most of the classes I took were American history. But once again, I'm gonna like totally humiliate myself because I remember nothing.
I love that you wrote like I even wrote a thesis. I don't remember anything.
Nothing.
I don't even think I ever read this.
I loved Little House on the Prairie. I was a prairie head for sure.
I was a prairie head.
And now, after doing this research for this game, I'm like, wow, it's really controversial. And when I haven't read it, obviously, recently, but like the way they talk about the Native Americans, et cetera, and like, yeah. So anyway, we'll get into that a little bit, but it was very like wholesome, and we can do it, and family togetherness, and it's a rough winter, but we're going to make it through to spring.
Yeah.
It was
Living
multiple
simple.
books?
It was multiple books, and it was a TV series.
I actually did do a reread of them during the pandemic.
Did you?
Wow.
How did it hold up?
I'm going to tell you something.
I don't know where mine are.
I'll just briefly, it didn't hold up, and not for racist reasons. It didn't hold up for me because I realized she spends like so many pages like going through the details of how to sew something on a dress. And I'm like, okay, but like, what happens when you got your period in the olden times? Like, the stuff you actually want to know about, like, is not really included. But I can tell why I liked it as a kid, but it felt a little different as an adult. And I think, like, there were parts where I was like, about the Native Americans, but in my view, it seemed to be more like her mother was, anti-Native Americans. She was scared of them or whatever. But I don't know if like the description of her mother was necessarily like a promotion of that idea. I think she was just sort of
got it.
It was
There's definitely like people on all sides of it that like can see.
But like I do remember in the books,
there's good people on both. Yeah, there's very fine people on both sides of the situation.
I do remember in the books though, Pa is friends with Native Americans and kind of like told his wife to cool it. Like I do remember one part. Yeah,
So
it's complicated.
So it's complicated. Again, it's complicated.
It's nuanced.
But I did also, I also loved the books as a kid, and I think I just loved hearing about how people lived. Like I agree, the button, I don't need to hear about the button for an hour, but like I like hearing about people living in like different old times. Like that's always interesting to me. So
I was reading Fear Street, so
good for
you. So was I. Okay.
Sorry.
Wait, who was that? Who wrote?
R.L. Stein.
R.L. Stein. Did you like Christopher Pike too? I used to read a lot of Christopher Pike.
Lindsay was edgy. Lindsay was edgy.
I was too cool for Little House on the Prairie.
You were.
Well, I was cool enough that I could do both, so that's me. Eclectic. What are you going to do? Little House on the Prairie, a series of 8 mostly autobiographical books about Laura Ingalls Wilder's life as a white settler on the American prairie set between 1870 and 1874, has been a perennial favorite ever since it was first published in 1935. So, Corey, first question is for you. The family moved around quite a bit in their Midwestern homesteading, but in which place did they actually live as squatters on what was still recognized at the time by the U.S. as Native American land? Was it A, Missouri, B, Kansas, or C, Iowa?
I believe it was Kansas.
That is correct.
Okay.
When they were living in Kansas, they were squatting and they had to move. The government actually made them move because it was still at that time recognized as Native American lands.
Wow.
Lindsay, number 2. Laura Ingalls Wilder was a descendant of Philippe de Lannoy, a pilgrim of Walloon descent. Whatever that is. It's some kind of strange, like, Netherlands thing. He arrived in Plymouth, Massachusetts in the early 1620s. His descendants include many notable people, including the Pilgrims who chartered the Mayflower, and which U.S. president? A, Ulysses S. Grant, B, Calvin Coolidge, or C, F, FDR?
My favorite FDR?
Yes. That is correct.
I just guessed. I don't
also
know anything.
Ulysses S. Grant.
Ooh.
Yeah. And Laura Ingalls Wilder was also a relative of Calvin Coolidge through another association or another line.
This is a fictional human?
No, this is the writer of Little House on the Prairie.
It.
These were like mostly autobiographical books, Little House on the Prairie, about her life.
Got it.
She was a person.
Got it.
Related to the Mayflower people.
Related
to FDR and Ulysses S.
See,
Grant.
I'm learning.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Great. Oh, here's a fun one. Corey, there in the television series Little House on the Prairie, there were a lot of anachronisms. Oh wait, Lindsay, this question's for you. What's an anachronism? And then the question about the anachronisms will be for you, Corey. But I just want to see if Lindsay knows
An
this.
anachronism is like soft as a bunny's paw.
Explain that.
It's a way to describe things by a feeling.
No. It is when something is in a piece of literature or art or film or something, when something takes place in a period time, but then you take things from things that wouldn't have been invented at that time already. Like if you're doing the Old West, but then you have people, on cell phones. But that's an anachronism.
They did that in the show?
No, not that specific thing.
But they did anachronisms in the show from the book.
Yes, but you would never notice it. You would never notice it. Here's one. In the episode Meet Me at the Fair, the modern hot air balloon is shown, complete with an FAA regulated number, a system that didn't come into play until the 1940s.
Right.
However, the hot air balloon itself had been invented.
Got it.
So now I'm going to talk to you, Corey, about the hot air balloon.
Oh, good.
This was a new technology at the time. Two French brothers, the Montgolfiers, launched the first hot air balloon on June 4th, 1783. And on September 19th, 1783, they launched the Aerostat Rebellion, the first hot air balloon with passengers, in a demonstration flight for King Louis the 15th. Who 16th? Those are just letters. How am I supposed to know? That's 16. Who were the first passengers of the very first passengered hot air balloon, Corey? Was it A, 3 local criminals chosen in case it crashed? B, 3 rich noblemen who wanted the honor? Or C, a sheep, a duck, and a chicken? Just 'cause.
Wow.
I'm going to say the animals.
That is correct.
All right.
Corey. Oh my God. Boston College.
Yes. Here's an extra credit for both of you. 10 years later, Jean-Pierre Blanchard became the first to fly a hot air balloon in North America. Which American president was there to see the launch?
What year was it?
Come on.
1793.
Coolidge, obviously.
No.
No, that is incorrect.
Would it be George Washington?
That is correct. Okay. He was also the first one to see the first circus. He saw everything, George Washington. He saw the first American circus. He saw the first American hot air balloon. Really exciting times for him.
Wow.
After that war. Wow.
After that war. You know, that one.
All right. Let's do one more.
Oh my God. Corey is kicking our ass.
Whose question? Is this Lindsay's question? Lindsay, pioneer women learned to supply their own household goods. Gourds served as pails and dippers. Wood ash was sifted to make soap. Tallow, which was sheep and cattle fat, was molded into candles, and every cabin had 2 spinning wheels, a big wheel for wool and a smaller wheel for flax. With their own home-woven coarse cloth of mixed linen and wool, pioneer women made their families' clothing, as we read about with the story about the button. What was this home-woven cloth made of wool and linen called? Was it A, linule, B, linen, or C, linsey-woolsey?
A?
No, it was C, linsey-woolsey.
What?
Oh.
Yes. It's called linsey-woolsey.
What? How do you spell it?
Like your name without the D.
What?
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like
Lindsay
a girl I went to college
Woolsey.
with, Lindsay Woolsey.
Yeah, right? That has to be... Any Lindsay Woolseys out there, please write us.
Wow.
You're named after cloth.
Well, I tell you what,
Wow.
I don't feel like I missed anything by not reading those
You
books.
probably didn't.
You really didn't, I guess. All right, we'll leave it at that. Thank you for coming to my Pioneer Woman
That was fun.
American history class today.
Listen,
Thank you so much.
Marsha just came in and tallied up the points. And
Oh my God.
Corey, I mean, it's not even. Corey
close?
won by a landslide.
Oh,
How many points
thank
does she have?
God.
5, 10, 15.
What?
She has 16 points.
That's a lot. That's actually a lot.
Kelly
and I
has
didn't even have
6.
that many questions on this last game.
And I
That's a
only
lot.
have 2 points. This is my worst performance thus far.
I'm so glad it is not me failing this time.
No, I'm the failure, but
You're the dunce.
I mean,
Corey
I'm
is our
glad.
valedictorian.
our winner.
I'm glad I won, but I will spiral forevermore about how I did not know enough about Bruce Springsteen. I won't sleep at night. So thank you so much.
We'll bring you back for a Bruce Springsteen quiz so you can redeem yourself.
Yeah, we'll have a redemption. Redemption tour.
Start studying now.
I've made my bed. I can't listen to him anymore. Don't, just kidding.
I love it. As our winner, you get to make a valedictorian speech, and you get to look at us and say, fuck you, I'm smarter, in any order you would like.
Well, I guess I didn't believe in myself enough to prepare a valedictorian speech, which is,
That's
says it all,
It's on
right?
brand.
That
Yeah.
says it all.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
But since I'm here, I'm just going to say thank you so much. My parents always got me tested for gifted every year. They thought I was gifted. Okay. And every year I never passed the test. I got they thought I was so smart. I never got to gifted. So, I dedicate this to them for, believing in me,
Over-believing
even though
in
they
you.
shouldn't have, right? And I want to just thank you guys, and I want to dedicate this to all the boys I loved before who loved Phish. I want to dedicate it to Bruce Springsteen, to Laura Ingalls Wilder, to Zach Morris, to Michael Berryman, and most importantly, Amanda Crone, who brought me and Lindsay together, my childhood best friend, who I hope is having a very well-adjusted life with her family and children, and please, just she did all the right things,
Yeah, she
Yeah.
did. She's
This is
thriving.
really all for her. Yeah.
This is dedicated to Amanda Crone,
This is
wherever you are.
dedicated to Amanda Crone.
And fuck you guys, I'm smarter.
Beautiful. Well said.
Corey, thank you
my
so
gosh.
much for doing our show.
Yeah, thank you. This was so
was
fun.
so fun.
Thanks for having
Can't
me.
wait to see you
Yeah.
perform.
Oh yeah, tell us where we can follow you, where we can find you, what we should be
Well-
looking at. We didn't even talk about your film that you did last year.
Thank you.
You're short,
yes,
right?
So I basically am just sort of on Instagram right now. So if you just follow me on Instagram, I have a link in my bio to my latest short film. It takes you to my Vimeo page where my other films are. And so I'm directing, and the short film is called Rehearsal, and I'm really proud of it. I think it's like my style of where I want to go with my directing, which is improvisational and like centered around like youth culture. Cool. I still am obsessed with teenagers. Sorry, that sounds creepy, but I am, So I'm directing.
Fine, Corey, you're not that old. Come on.
I know. I'm directing right now, and I also perform every week with a collective of clowns, not like circus nose clowns, but like performance artists at Griffith Park in LA. It's called Clown Zoo, and it's just like a deranged mask show. Like we wear masks, and it's very wild and free, and
I can't wait to come.
Weird. It's very weird, but that's every week.
That's my style.
I post about it there, and just like acting in some stuff here and there, but
cool.
Yes, everyone go follow Corey and
we'll
keep up with what she's doing. We're
put a
gonna
link
go
to your-
see you at Clown Zoo, so you guys should go too.
Clown Zoo is different every week, so I hope it's a good one. But
Yeah,
you guys will have fun.
Well, we like weird.
Yeah.
Cool.
And listeners, don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, tell your friends. Just don't mean to brag, but we did a TikTok video. These old ladies did. So
these old ladies did one TikTok video, and they're
So
very proud of themselves.
better get on it before we
Wow.
forget we have it.
Yeah.
You know,
I could never. I have so much respect.
it took hours, but we did it.
We are
And
old. I take it back. We're
yeah,
really old.
we love you guys. Thanks for supporting
Thanks for
always,
listening.
and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
I love you guys too.
Fuck you, I'm smarter.